Hey guys, good afternoon. Um, I'm sure you've heard by now about, there was I believe a Russian pilot that flew his helicopter over to Ukraine and pretty much surrendered to them. I'm sure you've heard of that by now. Um, and now I'm hearing about Russian troops that don't want to fight, that are refusing to fight. Um, I just want to go over a few things. The timeline, the war started. Prelude was up 23 February of last year. Missile invasion, the airport, all that stuff was 24th February to 7th of April. You know, hearing about troops not wanting to fight and things of this nature, it makes me think about the Vietnam War. I lost family over there. A lot of people came back not in their right mind. A lot of people came back different people altogether. Lives were destroyed. Human life was lost, as well as people's plans and goals and dreams for the future was altered forever. I wonder, and it's something, I've spoke to Russians and stuff, and, it's like talking to an alien. I talked to one, told me, I'm going to wake up one day in the ghetto that they see the Ukrainians as like the next the new Nazis or something, which is as far as reality as possible. And what hit me was, is it going to become like Vietnam for Russia? Where people are fleeing the country, and we know about McNamara's 100,000, where he brought in 100,000 people that were effectively mentally retarded, and a lot of those people died. People don't realize just how low bottom of the barrel they went during that war. Like I'm sure everybody's heard that term before of battlefield promotions, and I don't think people realize just how bad it got. I wonder what will happen if, it seems that Putin doesn't really care about the consequences, the loss of people, the loss of generals that have been arrested, put under house arrest, and apprehended, and things of that nature, as well as troops that have turned on the government. We had a guy that shot up a base over there in Russia, which, reading all these things brings home to me that they have a much lower quality of life and a much lower value for human life. It's a much lower value system, very different. There's a lot of corruption as well. That's the difference between them and the fundamentalists. Is just the sheer amount of corruption in Russia, and that as I've been told, that you don't have to do a good job, you don't have to do a great job to be in higher office over there. You just don't fail. It's you win or you die. You win or you die, and that is it's pretty clear over there. So I wonder, are you gonna have fratricide over there? I wonder, are they gonna start using weapons like napalm, where they're killing off people, and they're gonna start using? Is there going to be a Ukrainian My Lai incident? Is there going to be? Because what I'm saying is, if you get to the point to where you've killed some of your own people, you're dragging the barrel, and you're talking to the North Koreans, like, it does seem like this is the Vietnam for Russia. Except, we really, look at it compared to how many people we think died, millions of Vietnamese, obviously nowhere near that on the American side. And we know that, there's the corruption on the Russian side. It's not about specialization. It's about who you know and what you know. I wonder, would there be a weather underground in Russia? We had people, and obviously the Vietnam War was running parallel to a time of great social upheaval. You had the Black Panthers, you had Dr. King and SNCC and SCLC, Southern, Christian Leadership Conference. I didn't realize a white man actually took it over. I didn't realize that after King stepped down from that. Malcolm X talked about that. I think it was the Ballad of the Bully. He talked about that. It just makes you wonder about what will Russia look like in the aftermath of just so many people dead. One thing I learned when you have these kind of things where you lose so many people, the culture of institutions change. They have to. Because you've lost so many people who, kind of structured systems and structured the way things are, the day-to-day operations of certain things. Once so many of them die, and you've lost so many Spetsnaz, you lost so many of your special forces people, what fills the gap? As I said, I wonder, will there be a Weather Underground? Weather Underground they sent a bomb to the Pentagon, and did other things too, I'm not going into here, and it was something that a lot of people believe once that started happening, it really led the Pentagon to have to wind down the war. And I don't know. I'm just reading about the stuff in the past. I just wonder will it happen in Russia? Will there come a time where Russians are will there be a White Rose moment in Russia? Will there be people who are willing to die like there were Germans to turn against Hitler? Will there be that in Russia where they're look, we know we're going to die. We know there's a chance, but are there going to be people who are willing to risk their lives? Not by protesting, not by losing jobs, but by actually possibly dying. These questions will go unanswered, and it remains to be seen as to what will be the reaction. As I said, Russia is a different country than many of us in the West. We look at life differently here, and that's just due to our situation. As I said, Russia is a very poor country. I didn't realize Russia is a very poor country. Very poor. And I'm just curious about, as a student of history, which I consider myself to be a student of history, to learn about why things go the way they are. Or I wonder about if Putin is really willing to continue and he's willing to sacrifice this many people, what's going to happen? And I'm hearing about them leaving bodies behind, and because if they leave bodies behind, they put you in MIA, you collect your paycheck, they don't want to pay out the money to the parents, and I'm hearing some things that really, there's an inhumanity in these facts. There is it's quite impressive, their lack of regard of human life in the Russian psyche. And obviously these things I've just mentioned, the Weather Underground and the McNamara's dummies, McNamara's 100,000, whatever. These were people that these programs didn't work. None of them did. These actions were horrible, and no matter what the U.S. government says or had, it showed the U.S. government in a bad light, and it showed the U.S. government, that you're getting your behind kicked, that things are not going well. They had their whole way. They had events where it looked bad to the public. I don't know. Thanks for listening.